Hey Sainers, welcome to the round 20 review. Wait for a few more Sainers to tune in. Comment your thoughts as always. It's not just my opinion here, it's all of ours. So make sure you put your thoughts in the comments. Give me your best players, your best passage of play, what you love the most about the game, because there was a lot to like there. There was a lot to love. Coming into this game, I was pretty bullish. I think most fans were pretty bullish if we turned up and played some of our best that we could get this win, and Essendon had a lot on the line. Finals just almost slipping away for them, and the pressure got to them and our pressure got to them. It was an excellent game. It was one of our best performances of the season. I don't know if you can hear that, but someone's blasting the song out of their car. Final score was 108-55, a 53-point win, an absolute domination, to be honest. We started slow in probably the first and second quarters. They came out of the blocks, kicked the first two, although we kind of handed it to them. And the same with the second quarter. But we responded both times. After they kicked the first two in the first, we kicked the next five. They kicked, I think, maybe the first goal of the second, first three actually, to hit the front, and then we kicked the next 8 in response. So the way we responded to their challenge was one of the more impressive things of the game. But for me, the most impressive thing from the game, and I don't know if any of you agree, let me know, but it was the contested marking. It was, it just felt like anytime the ball was in the air, anytime it was going into our back line, it was either going to be Battle or Wilkie marking it. And then anytime it was going to the forward half, it was Sharman clunking it, Caminiti clunking it, Membry bringing it to ground and roving it. It just felt like our aerial presence, Marshall around the ground, who I thought absolutely dominated Draper, absolutely killed him. I think at one point he had 25 possessions to Draper's 6 or 7. And you got a cheap goal at the end of the free kick. But our best players stood up. It was a complete team performance. Machida Owens is starting to slowly get back into that rhythm that we all know from last season, that physicality, that passage of play where he broke a few tackles and then nailed the pass. I think it was to Sharman, I believe, who kicked a goal. But I think the highlight was probably Caminiti and Sharman, to be honest. The way they kind of contested the football, obviously in the absence of Max King, they need to stand up. And they delivered. 3 goals each, career high for Caminiti. He just looked like he's starting to own those contests. Like he knows he's the big guy. And same with Owens. He's starting to come into his own with his physicality. He's starting to believe in his own strength, because sometimes mentally you're not quite there with where your body's at, and it takes you a bit more time to get there. And it looks like Owens, the penny might have dropped, and he's starting to be that absolute machine there. And I can see someone's kind of, DK's just mentioned Ronnie Burns. Again, backing it up. Unassuming game from Ronnie, but he's the connector. He's always there. He's always kind of making sure that if there's a player under pressure, there's an easy handball, and he's that handball. And the best part is his disposal has been pretty elite in the last couple of weeks. And to be honest, at halftime, our overall disposal efficiency was a whopping 78%. I think they were going at maybe 71 or 72, which was still pretty high. But our disposal across the ground was so clean. And I think, this game could be so different if that disposal is not clean. But we've got a lot of good ball users, and they're all full of confidence at the moment. Nasai's first half was incredible. 20 disposals, 418 metres gained. He's kicked a goal on top of that, and he's pushing up the ground and being more aggressive. I thought Bonner was actually really good. We always talk about him when he's poor. I actually thought he had a very good game today. The backline stood tall, kept the team to under 60 points again. And this is just the sort of football that I think Ross Lyon has been building towards all season. I think that people say that we can't play exciting football. He's past it. He doesn't know. Watch the last 2 weeks. We've been very exciting. The passages of play today from end to end. That Jack Steele goal where he got the handball, I think it might have been from Marshall, and he's run into an open goal to kick his third of the third quarter. That was end-to-end, flawless, aggressive football, and I love when we play this way. It's hard to stop. It's beautiful to watch, and we've got players that can execute it now, which is really exciting. And obviously we're going to add to that in the off-season. But to set that in stone now, to get that as the template to build on going into 2025, to me is the most important thing. And I said that going back a month. I said that the final 8-9 weeks of the season, regardless of win-loss, is about establishing that brand, playing an exciting brand of football, but also learning to kick more goals, but maintaining that defensive strength that we've had for so long, for the last 18 to 24 months. And we're doing that. We're absolutely doing that. Next week, another big test against Brisbane. Jack Steele looking like his old self. When he's hitting the scoreboard like that, that's when you know Jack Steele's confident. He's up and about. He's back to that sort of form that we know from 2020 to 2022 when he was absolutely dominating the comp. Sinclair roaming and not really having to be the guy, but he's still incredibly dangerous with ball in hand. Hunter Clark the same. And credit where credit's due. Again, back-to-back games. Zach Jones, brilliant game. Back-to-back. He's playing within his limitations. He knows not to take on 4 or 5 blokes, not to take 2 or 3 bounces and overpossess the football. He's keeping it simple, and that's translating across the ground. The entire team is just doing what they need to do, and it's really nice to watch. And obviously it's a bit too late for finals, but that doesn't mean we can't go into every game with that sort of approach. And I think that's just going to make us even more. It's going to be better for us in the long term, the way we're playing, with the youngsters coming through, with our senior players doing what they're doing. Josh Battle, I kind of said a few weeks ago I was kind of okay if he left for Hawthorn. We got a first rounder back, but the way he's playing, he's just doing everything right. And I hope we somehow manage to keep him and to maneuver another first round pick elsewhere if it's possible. But let's get into the comments. Awesome performance. I loved that. We just suffocated Essendon. Absolutely gave them nothing. They wanted to use the corridor. Merritt didn't really. I don't feel like he had sort of that dominant game that he's been doing for most of the season. Gresham doing what Gresham does. That was good to watch. Shanking a few. The rundown tackle that was a push in the back was the best part as well. Let me just scroll to the top. This one's from Beth Elliott. The Gresh tackle on Naz, a little fiery. Naz animated, which is unusual. Naz. Limitless, how great he can be. Absolutely. He's only scratching the surface at the moment. Naz looked amazing in the first half. Wooden spoon data there. Yeah, Kenny giving Zachy Jones credit there. 20-plus disposals again. And he was good against Adelaide a couple of weeks ago as well, to be honest. Even though that's kind of when he got that email, I still thought he was actually pretty good. And, yeah, Jack Steele's enjoying it when other players are taking that pressure off him. Kel Wilkie was elite. The back line overall elite. We've kept them to 55 points, and for the majority of the game, they had options there. They had targets to go to. Draper, Wright, Jones. They had players there. Stringer. When they put Stringer up the ground for basically the entire second half, you knew the game was on our terms. Rowe was dominant. Absolutely. I don't know what his final stats were, but I don't understand when people kind of laugh at me saying I think he could be an All-Australian ruckman. I know there's other good rucks out there, but he's building into this season at the perfect time to get the attention of the All-Australian selectors. And if he goes on with it for the next 5 weeks, he could be in with a big shout. Yeah, one of the best games Cooper Sharman's ever played for the club. Same with Caminiti in the same game. Both of them could be career best games for them. I know that Sharman did have a game a couple of years ago against Free Kick 4, but this was just a different game. This is a game where Sharman almost played like he was the main man. He wasn't just the sidekick. He was the main man. He was flying for everything in that second half, and he's probably the best set shot we've got, and one of the best set shots we've almost ever had. He's just so accurate, and it's low and hard, and he's the one player I watch where he kicks the goal, and I watch him. I don't watch the goal umpire, because the second it leaves his boot, he's celebrating, and straight through the middle. It's fun to watch when we kick goals, isn't it, Jan? Another 17 or 18 goals tonight, which is awesome. Our percentage goes up even more. Our percentage is higher than Essendon's right now. Yeah, that was the best part. 3 goals. When Caminiti, I remember the the Machino one, I said, watch. If he kicks this, we're on today. And then Caminiti later in the game, I said, if he kicks this, the game's done. That's it. It's on. And he nailed both. It was just funny. David Rode and the goal umpire's just got a big smirk on his face. Couldn't believe that 3 of those goals went in. It's a good shout. Whenever Steele kicks one from the goal square, it's a sign of a good game. A special game. GWS 2020 to make finals. He kicked one, the dribbler. West Coast, when we came from behind, he ran into an open goal. And then tonight. So that's a very good point. It's kind of a weird omen, isn't it? When Steele kicks one from the goal square, we're unbeatable. Douglas says, well done, Saints. See what can happen when you turn up to play. Wilson's best game in a while. Yeah, I thought there was a really good mark, I think, in the last quarter between two Bombers, and he stood his own. And we did that all day. Again, that contested marking was crazy good. Yeah, 3/4 time. Trust me, there was a lot around me leaving. Third quarter, we kicked 7-2. That was the same score as our entire first half. So to go into 3/4 time with nearly 90 points on the board, you know you're playing good football. Sharman take a bounce from Majestic Stuff. Love the name. John says, we would normally fumble the lead and sort of give up. We played 4 quarters of amazing football. I know, this was the most complete game we've played all season. Last week, it was kind of like the last quarter we got it away, kicked 7 goals quickly. But this was each quarter we were challenged. The first 2 we were challenged, we responded, but we responded with interest. And by the 3rd and 4th, Essendon couldn't throw anything more at us. They gave us their best shot, and we took it, and we gave it back with interest and ran away with the game. It was ruthless to watch. It was a really ruthless performance, which you can't really say too much. Kyle says, you're safe from the emo haircut this week. Mate, I haven't had an emo haircut since 2008, 2009. Do your research, all right? I've had the same haircut for about 25 years. Beck says, Fox Footy couldn't stop talking about how great Cooper Sharman was playing. Sharman had more marks than the entire Essendon team in the 3rd quarter. Really? That's outrageous if that's true. Camo was awesome. Yep, best game for the club, absolutely. Career high goals. I think he took 8 marks, probably 4 or 5 of them were just contested marks. And, you know, when you're missing your main linchpin in the forward half, you need other players to stand up, and that's exactly what we did today. And I'll end it on this one. Is the Ross the Boss game plan starting to kick in? I absolutely believe that. To anyone that thinks that the slow, boring, mundane football is the way Ross has been training us, I can assure you that is not the case. You go to training all preseason. What is translated onto the field today in the last couple of weeks is exactly what I saw at training. That end-to-end handball receives, high kick football, not fluffing around with it and kicking goals. And, I mean, if that's exactly the way Ross wants us to play, I think long-term that's going to be a way for us to challenge. And we're not leaking goals by doing that. That's the thing. You know, sometimes you rob Peter to pay Paul with these sort of situations where, you know, you're not as defensively sound and you leak goals. But we're proving that you can actually do both. You can still maintain that defensive strength and then you can kick goals. And that makes us even more dangerous, to be honest. So, and we've always known we've got goal kickers. We've got a lot of natural goal kickers in this team. And now they're starting to really flaunt that. So I'm really excited to take on a top 2, top 3 team in Brisbane next week. At Marvel again, and we played a great game against them only 4 or 5, 6 weeks ago. So hopefully we can deliver that. On that note, Sainers, I'm going to leave it there. Lastly, comment your player of the match, your Mosh man of the match. Who was that? Was it Sharman? Was it Caminiti? Was it Steele? Was it Naz? We've got a lot of options for this one. Usually it's obvious. I don't necessarily think it's obvious. Who's your Mosh man of the match? Jaden guest starring. Mosh man of the match. Naz? Naz is Jaden's vote. I don't know. I think it's Sharman or Caminiti, to be honest. I think Sharman probably just pips him. I thought he played a big forwards game, and he's not a big forward, but he delivered, and we needed someone to do that. So for me, Cooper Sharman, put in the comments, and we'll announce the Mosh man of the match on Monday morning. So I'll wrap it up there, Sanders. Thank you very much for watching. Please like the video, comment your thoughts, subscribe on YouTube. Nearly on 12,000 would be amazing to get that by the end of the season. And obviously Instagram at Saints TV Pod. Podcast will be out Monday night, and 5 Things We Learned will be out tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. So thanks again, Sanders. Enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy the replay. Have a wine, and I'll see you very soon. Take care, and as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.